I want to take some time to show you that Tracy Martin is an advocate for senseless violence. Now, before you go get your panties in a wad, hear me out. He's going to say this out of his own mouth. Let's go.
17 months since 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot and killed, and 5 days since George Zimmerman was found not guilty of second-degree murder.
All right. Did you just notice what he just said? He just said 17 and 5. 17 and 5 is 22. 22, those are Masonic numbers. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know about the numerology, but I've began to understand something. And that is the fact that the gentleman that you see right here, the one that we call George Zimmerman, his name is not George Zimmerman. Now, I haven't figured out what his name is quite yet, but I'm going to show you, without a doubt, in these next few minutes, that this entire case is a hoax. Let's go.
A verdict that's led to an ongoing protest in cities around the country and new debates about race and guns in this country.
All right. Now, before we get on to hearing Tracy Martin say what he's going to say, and hearing Sabrina Fulton, and seeing that snake, also known as Ben Crump, Barack Obama, yes, the Jesuit Barack Obama, met with about 300 celebrities a year ago in a little secret meeting. It was secret, but it wasn't that secret because it leaked to the press. And during this time, he had the opportunity to get together with all of the singers, all of the actors and actresses, and he told them, hey, look, we got this Trayvon Martin psyop that's going to be running on the news. We're going to be, publicizing a trial and everything. We're going to really blow it up. So I want you to play your part. Stevie, I want you to protest. Hey, Spike Lee, I want you to do something. Hey, Beyonce, hey, I want you to do something. Hey, football players, the like, you name it. They're all in on this hoax. And the joke's on you, people. Let's go.
Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton are Trayvon Martin's parents. Javaris Fulton is his brother, and Ben Crump.
All right. Now, they have him on the show as a prop. During this entire interview, they did not ask him one question. If you're telling the truth, why do you need to have your family attorney here as if you are incapable of saying what needs to be said, or as if you are incapable of just being honest and just shooting from the cuff and say, hey, these are my grievances, this is what I didn't like, or whatever? Why do we have him here? This is what you guys have to understand. I want you to start seeing how they operate.
Is their attorney. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
We haven't heard, so what's your reaction? It's 5 days now since the verdict. What's your reaction?
Still shocked, still in disbelief. We felt in our hearts that we were going to get a conviction. We thought that the killer of our unarmed child.
Now, notice that he's using the word killer. Okay? Now, you're not supposed to be able to say that because the courts have found that he's not guilty of killing, okay, or shall I say murdering. He was not found guilty of any wrongdoing, which you knew that they wouldn't find any wrongdoing anyway, and so did you, okay, and everybody else who's have any ounce of brain would know that. But let him continue to tell you what he thinks.
Was going to be convicted of the crime that he committed.
You say shock and disbelief. Ms. Fulton, reasonable doubt is something we're hearing from some of the juries. Do you understand, jurors, do you understand how they might have found reasonable doubt?
Of course not. She is going to continue to tell you that she doesn't know how they could think that, okay? Although there are some reports that were out that was saying that he was getting kicked out of her home. Okay? Now, I don't know if these are true or not, but I'm beginning to not believe them at all. And I believe that she was not even aware of where the child was. So I believe that both of these parents are here and they're commenting about a situation that they really don't know anything about, but they want to convince you that they do. Let's go.
I don't understand if they were looking at it from Trayvon's point of view, because he was a teenager. He was scared. He
Here it goes with that. He was scared. Okay? But according to some reports, I'm not going to say that they are true or not, he had punched a bus driver. He had punched and beat up the kid at school who had snitched on him for selling weed at school. Doesn't sound like a scary type of child. And at 6'2", looking at George Zimmerman, I don't think he was afraid at all. Let's go.
did run. As far as if he ran home or not, I mean, if somebody is chasing me, I don't think I would run home and bring them to my house.
Okay. But according to the official timeline story, which I know is all false, Diddy claims that he took off running and had almost gotten back to Brandy Green's place and began to walk fast. So she says whether or not he had went home or not doesn't really matter, because he was afraid, and why would he ever want to let George Zimmerman know where he lived? It's total bull. Total bull. Right? But she's going to continue to deny it. And as I said before, they have him here, and he's just a prop. He's so that you will look at him and see that Trayvon looked like him. But from all of the creative photos and the Photoshop photos that I've been able to see of the character that they have created of Trayvon Martin looked nothing like him. Okay? He looked more like a thug. There's no other way to say it. Let's go.
We have heard now from juror B37, and she's told us some things about what went on in that deliberation room and what they were thinking during the trial. She was asked if she thought that George Zimmerman racially profiled Trayvon. She said no. She was asked if she thought race played a role in this tragedy. She said no. What's your reaction to that?
Obviously, anytime you have a person that makes an assumption that a person is up to no good, there's some type of profile in there.
Anytime you make an assumption that a person is up to no good, there's some type of assumption there. So what old Baldy is saying, hey, don't profile anybody. If a guy is coming towards you with a machete and he's screaming, I hate you, I hate you, he's saying, you're not supposed to profile that guy. You're not supposed to pass judgment on that guy. That guy may be coming to give you a nice hug with his machete. You don't know. This is what he's telling you. He's talking to the dumbed down people that believe the lies that he has told. And that's the reason why he can't look you in the eye. He has to look down and think about, okay, what am I going to make him believe now? But let's go.
Was he racially profiled? I think that if Trayvon had been white, this would have never happened.
No. If this story is actually true and based on facts, if you're wearing a hoodie and if you look like a thug creeping through the neighborhood up to no good, and if you look as if you're kind of looking in to see if you can see people in a situation where they're not able to see you, if you're walking around in the rain, which is the best time to go and scope out places, that's someone having common sense and noticing you. He wants everybody to be up in arms because somebody used common sense, which I still don't believe the entire story is actually true, because I'm having a hard time finding the identity of these people. Him also. Sabrina Fulton also. There's no way she went to college with the way she talks. But let's go.
Obviously, race playing some type
This from the prosecution.
Now, obviously, race is playing some kind of role. No, it's not. You want it to be some type of role because your case is weak. And in fact, in a few minutes, Mr. Crump is going to butt in and he's going to state that. But let's go. Come on, Matt.
Ben, I'll let you talk in 1 second. This from the prosecution during their presentation. Quote, this case is not about race. This is about right and wrong. What if Trayvon Martin, it was Trayvon Martin who shot and killed George Zimmerman, what would your verdict be? That's how...
I just wanted to point out that this guy sucks as a prosecutor. He absolutely sucked. He thought his crap didn't stink, but he looked like a liar. He was stretching everything he had to say. But this right here wants everybody to flip it around. Everybody wants to say, hey, well, you know what? White kids don't get profiled, they can go and do different things like that. Yeah. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you that, yeah, white kids do crimes also. But there's also a such thing as called being able to profile them as well. I can see a Caucasian kid and I can tell if he's up to no good just the same way I can see a Asian kid that may not be up to no good, or a Hispanic kid or whatnot. Everybody is allowed to profile. Profiling is something that all people do. It's natural. It's how you stay alive. And they're saying you cannot use common sense. How dare you? Use your brain. Let's go.
You know it's not about race. That's from the prosecution. Do you think that had an impact on this jury?
I think that they cut down to the heart of the matter, Matt. If the roles were reversed, what would the verdict have been? And jurors...
All right. I'm going to answer your question, Weasel. If the roles had been reversed, what would the verdict have been? If George Zimmerman was walking through that neighborhood and did not live there, and if Trayvon Martin was a 28-year-old neighborhood watch guy looking out for the community and had started to notice George Zimmerman and had called the police on George Zimmerman and had been attacked by George Zimmerman and had his gun on him, Trayvon Martin, with the roles reversed, had every right to shoot George Zimmerman if he felt that his life was in danger. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that that is what happened, but according to this story, if I were to play along and act like everything that they're saying is true, just common sense lets us know who's telling the truth and who is not. How many times have you seen George Zimmerman's parents talk to any media with an attorney next to them? Never. Now, the fact that they know law and, they're ex-judges, that has a little bit to do with it, but it's a clear indicator of who's telling the truth and who's not. But let's let him keep going, because he's going to really expose some truth of what's really going on here.
Zimmerman, the defense played that witness who said her place had been burglarized by an African-American teen. So in some way they tried to suggest that this allowed for any black man walking through that neighborhood, the neighborhood watch could profile and follow him, and that's not right.
Hold on. Now, he's trying to make this weak argument that you're not supposed to notice what the burglars look like. You're supposed to be colorblind. You're not supposed to profile. You're not supposed to remember the fact that these burglars had hoodies on, that these burglars wore certain types of clothing, that these burglars had these types of scully caps on, that these burglars smelled like this. You're not supposed to notice any of this common sense stuff that any person is supposed to be able to remember. He's trying to tell you that every single black kid is profiled unnecessarily all the time. And the reason why they're profiled is because somebody wants to come through and shoot them. When in reality, blacks are much more likely to attack or steal. I'm talking about the young ones, probably up to about 21 years old, all right? Maybe even older if they're career criminals. They're much more likely to attack someone, or they're much more likely to steal if they don't have parents in their life as